Hi all. Today I am going to present the basic aspects of education in India. In the last session, we have seen what is education, and you have commented well about your perceptions on education in detail. So, regarding the basic aspects of education, we have to cover up the aspects of education in Indian context as well as the aspects of education in Western context. First of all, let us try to see what are the basic aspects of education in Indian context. So you might have heard about the golden period of education. That's the Vedic system of education and the very famous Gurukula system. So that's a very unique system of education. In Vedic system of education, as you know, the emphasis is given on knowledge. Veda, the term itself indicates that's knowledge. It stands for representing knowledge. So, dissemination of acquisition of knowledge, that's the main aim of education. So, that is, education is knowledge centered, and the teacher is considered as guru or acharya. There are different terms to signify a teacher, and teacher as a guru is somewhat the highest form or highest place, and that place of a teacher, that position of a teacher from the traditional Vedic period and even now in the most modern period of Indian education, we can see such a specific place for a teacher in a classroom. So that's one of the unique feature of unique aspect of Indian system of education. So we have, or our system is always revolving around a teacher or a teacher oriented system. And in Vedic system, we can see the education is somewhat more life centered or life oriented, though the main text or main source of formal instruction is Vedas or mantras, something like that. The system of education, especially that Gurukula system, the learners go in search of a guru and reside at the house of guru for some 10 12 years to complete their education, a residential form of education. And the advantage of this residential form of education is the life of guru is an open book for the disciples, means the learners, the students. So they will get a chance to have a close watch of almost all activities, daily life activities of Guru. So the learners have, the disciples have an opportunity to get a functional knowledge, a working information about what all things are essential in our life, apart from the learning of that Vedas and all. So one of the problem with this residential type of education in the past, that system of education was restricted to some elite classes in the society or only some sections of the society. Majority are away from learning because those who are interested to acquire knowledge, or those who are children of that rulers and all, kings and all, and such people alone has an opportunity for being educated. That's a major problem of that, or major limitation of that system of education. But there are no restriction for women to be educated. There were so many women scholars during this Vedic period. And when we progress through time or different periods during the invasion period, the period in which foreign invasions or successive invasions of foreigners into India, then a colonial system of education, then education after independence, and there are different phases we can demarcate in the history of Indian education. Dr. Vidya, in this, who received PhD from this department, who did a very commendable work on these various sections or various periods of education from Vedic to post-independent period. You can find out the thesis in Shodh Ganga. Shodh Ganga is a reservoir of PhD thesis. So you can just find it out by typing the name of either the name of the scholar or the title of the thesis. It's a very elaborate work which explain in detail about the different phases of education, phases in education, and the work is actually based on the characteristics of teachers, how a teacher is, present day teacher is evolved through time from those Vedic period. And that prolonged history of education helped us to have a very solid foundation. But unfortunately, due to these kind of inversions, that colonial British inversion, etc., influence very deeply and critically in the Indian system of education. So the entire system has been changed in many ways. In certain ways, it is beneficial that education became open to all. So the restrictions for education has been removed. The education become barrier free considerably to certain extent. Those who are having money, those who are able to pay the fee, those can get education. Restriction of education by caste, that has been considerably removed. But the purpose of education was limited or restricted only because the British rule has only one purpose, that they require some people for clerical jobs and all. And they started to teach English and some basic maths, something like that, to train local people, to prepare them for some clerical jobs and all. And this twist in the system of education deeply influenced the knowledge system actually formed in the prevailed in ancient India. And later on, after independence, then we have 5-year plans, we have national policy on education, we have various committees and commissions of education that you know, especially the Kothari Commission, Education and National Development in 1996, then the National Policy 1986, and the new education policy now 2020. All such landmark in the progress of education system in India. And there are different legislations such as RTE, you know, right to education. Education became the fundamental right of children till the age group by that act. And the new education policy extend it from 0 to 18. So an 18 years of up to the age of 18, education become free and compulsory by the policy of 2020. And the system of that knowledge, the teacher, the examination, all these things are still having a prominent role in Indian system of education. These are some lampposts in Indian education. We already see that from the Vedic period, from the traditional period itself, emphasis is given on teachers, guru, and even now teachers have a very prominent place in education. Even at higher education institutions, students are always passive. They are expecting something to get from, expecting to receive from the teachers. So that's one of the peculiarity of Indian system. And most of our system, most of our activities, teaching learning process is directed towards some kind of testing, evaluation, some summative assessment. We are mainly concerned to summative assessment, because a term end or year end or semester end examination. So all our efforts, academic efforts, are directed towards an examination and acquisition of some percentage of marks for pass and to acquire a. That's another unique feature of Indian system of education. It is heavily examination oriented. So regarding curriculum and learning activities, usually an Indian system gave less emphasis. We are less concerned with changes, frequent changes or comprehensive changes in curriculum. So you know, the National Curriculum Framework was last formulated in 2005, means some 15 years back. And by the time, there are so many improvements in the field of technology as well as in various disciplines in the form of different kinds of discoveries. So the curricular inputs. So while deciding curriculum, even now learners have no voice at all. Learners don't know what to learn, because our system is mainly followed a prescriptive system. So in an Indian system, we can see even at the stage of higher education, we are always in search of prescribed text. So that's a major aspect or major feature, as well as a limitation for Indian system of education. So we are heavily dependent on some prescriptions. We need some prescribed text, or we are relying on some guidebooks for passing mere examination. So that's one problem of the Indian education system, or at the same time, it's a feature of Indian system of education. Then another basic feature of education by the last 2 decades, since 2000, and we are implementing various universalization programs, universalization of education, universalization of elementary education. You might have heard about UEE, the DPP program. That program was implemented for universalizing uh, elementary education. That's it was the beginning, and this program was then took over by Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, that is education for all, based on the Millennium Development Goal of UN. It was the Millennium Development Goal. There were 8 different Millennium Development Goals, and among these goals, the first goal was to eradicate poverty, then was education for all. So on the basis of that principle, in India, we have launched a flagship program, SSA, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. So, education for all up to the class 8, or compulsory education at the elementary stage. So, the elementary stage at national level means standard 1 to 8. So, followed by this SSA, there came another program, that is Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, RMSA. So that's aimed at secondary level students, the students of 9 to 12, 9, 10, 11, 12, the secondary level students. And that project was a very comprehensive project with certain focus areas such as girls' education, tribal education, adolescent education, inclusive education, etc. And it's a very well designed program. And followed by this RMSA, there is another program, RUSA, RUSA, for Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan, which is a program for developing higher education system in India. And now the SSA and RMSA were merged together to launch a new program, Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. So that's the program for school education. All the other programs compiled together for a single program, Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. And the RUSA is still continuing. And in this background, this new education policy, NEP 2020, was adopted by the central government of India. And that policy visualize a comprehensive changes in the system of education at all levels, even from the child birth. So it's the first time that the NCERT is going to prepare a framework, a curriculum framework for birth to 2 years. So that's a landmark mention in the policy, and there will be complete revamping in school education as well as in higher education. There are some 12 or 13 new institutions, new bodies to be established to realize the visions, functions, directives of this particular policy. And that policy provide a guideline as well as certain milestones to be achieved by the next 20 years. So these are some basic aspects of Indian system of education, a teacher driven, examination oriented, textbook oriented system of education, where curriculum and learning experiences are mainly meant for some certification. We are adding up new and new topics to curriculum just to represent it for the sake. And that's all about a brief outline of basic aspects of Indian system of education.